Can you feel the earth shaking, NBA fans? Can you hear the distant rumble of a seismic shift about to redefine the very fabric of our league? For months, we've whispered about it, debated it, even dismissed it as pure fantasy. But now, the whispers are growing louder, the tremors more pronounced, and the fantasy is starting to look like a terrifyingly real possibility. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, the two-time MVP, potentially leaving the only NBA home he's ever known. And if the latest reports are to be believed, the New York Knicks, those perennial pursuers of superstardom, are not just in the conversation. They're at the precipice of pulling off a blockbuster trade that could shatter the league's power structure. But here's the truly mind-bending part. It might take the Golden State Warriors, our dynastic titans, to help make this unthinkable dream a reality. Are we truly on the verge of witnessing the most audacious, landscape-altering trade in recent NBA history? One that could crown a new king in New York and ignite a final championship surge in the Bay? The NBA offseason is a cauldron of speculation, a swirling vortex of rumors and whispers that can drive even the most seasoned fan to distraction. And at the heart of this maelstrom for a significant stretch was Giannis Antetokounmpo. The idea of him leaving Milwaukee, the city he elevated to championship glory, felt almost sacrilegious. Yet the links persisted, with the New York Knicks, ever hungry for a superstar to reclaim their rightful place in the league's elite, emerging as a surprisingly strong contender. While Giannis himself publicly reaffirmed his commitment to the Bucks, the embers of those trade talks never truly died. Now, like a phoenix rising from the ashes of dormant speculation, those rumors are not just resurfacing. They're exploding with renewed intensity. Insiders are claiming that the clock on his Milwaukee tenure might be ticking, and the news of direct conversations between Antetokounmpo and the Knicks front office adds a potent, undeniable weight to the narrative. The stage, it seems, is set for a potential departure, with Madison Square Garden looming as the most likely destination for the Greek Titan. For the Knicks, the acquisition of a perennial MVP candidate like Giannis is, on paper, an unmitigated triumph. It's the kind of move that instantly transforms a contender into a favorite, a franchise into a dynasty in waiting. However, the modern NBA landscape, with its intricate salary cap rules and the sheer value of a player like Antetokounmpo, makes a direct two-team deal incredibly challenging. This is where the plot thickens, where the unthinkable becomes a strategic necessity. To navigate these treacherous waters, a third party, a facilitator with assets and aspirations of their own, becomes not just helpful, but essential. And in this audacious scenario, that third party is none other than the Golden State Warriors, a team that could leverage this chaos to make one final, desperate push for another championship. Let's dive into the jaw-dropping details of this proposed three-team blockbuster, a trade package that would send shockwaves across the entire league. New York Knicks receive. Giannis Antetokounmpo Milwaukee Bucks receive. Jonathan Kuminga, Mikal Bridges, Miles McBride, 2026 first-round pick, NYK via was, 2027 first-round pick GSW, 2029 first-round pick GSW, Golden State Warriors receive. Karl-Anthony Towns, this isn't just a trade. It's a complete reshuffling of the deck, a high-stakes gamble with monumental implications for every franchise involved. Let's dissect the impact on each team, starting with the potential new kings of New York. For Giannis Antetokounmpo, this trade would mark a monumental shift, ushering him into an entirely new chapter of his illustrious career. For the first time, the Greek phenom would step onto the grandest stage in professional sports, playing in a true big market. Drafted by the Bucks, he dedicated his entire career to transforming a small market franchise into a perennial playoff contender and ultimately an NBA champion. Now, in the bright lights of New York, one of the biggest sporting markets in the world, he would find himself in an environment unlike anything he's ever experienced. The expectations, naturally, would be astronomical. But if there's one thing we know about Giannis, it's his insatiable desire to win, his relentless drive to compete for titles. In New York, he would be perfectly positioned to fulfill that ambition. While the Knicks may not boast a rich history of recent NBA championships, they have always been a fiercely competitive team, and the current iteration of their roster has shown remarkable success. The addition of a player of Antetokounmpo's caliber would instantly elevate them to undisputed championship favorites. His dynamic style, characterized by unparalleled athleticism, brute strength, and versatile playmaking, would blend seamlessly with Coach Mike Brown's up-tempo offensive philosophy. Imagine the devastating pick-and-rolls with Jalen Brunson, the open-court opportunities, the sheer force he would bring to every possession. Last season, Giannis finished third in MVP voting, averaging an astounding 30.4 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game, all while shooting an incredible 60.1% from the field. He is, without question, one of the most consistently dominant players in the NBA. While acquiring him would necessitate breaking up a significant portion of the Knicks' current core, the evidence overwhelmingly suggests that such a risk would be worth it. For a player who can single-handedly carry teams to victory, New York would be making a calculated, yet potentially franchise-altering move. Now let's turn our attention to the Milwaukee Bucks, who, in this scenario, would be facing the painful end of an era. Parting ways with Giannis Antetokounmpo would undoubtedly be a gut-wrenching decision, a farewell to the greatest player in franchise history. However, this proposed trade offers them a lifeline, a comprehensive package of relevant pieces that could effectively kickstart a rapid and promising rebuild. By involving the Warriors, the Bucks would secure Jonathan Kuminga and 2 valuable first-round picks from Golden State. Add to that Mikal Bridges, Miles McBride, and another first-round pick, the 2026 top 8 protected pick via Washington from the Knicks, and Milwaukee walks away with an impressive haul of assets. The acquisitions of Kuminga and Bridges are particularly significant. Kuminga, who recently signed a 2-year deal with Golden State after a long and arduous contract negotiation, had openly expressed his desire for a larger role and the pursuit of all-star aspirations. Joining the Bucks in a post-Giannis world could be the ideal scenario for him. With Antetokounmpo's departure, Milwaukee would be in desperate need of a new franchise cornerstone, and Kuminga, with his elite physical tools and innate scoring sense, could be that player. Last season, he averaged 15.3 points and 4.6 rebounds per game, shooting 45.4% from the field. Given the limited opportunities he often received with the Warriors, a rebuilding Bucks team could offer him the expanded role necessary to truly flourish and cement his position as a primary scoring option. Giannis's departure would also leave a massive void in Milwaukee's defensive performance. To address this, acquiring a capable two-way player like Mikal Bridges would be crucial. Bridges is no stranger to adapting to new situations, having played for the Brooklyn Nets in the 2023-24 season, where he proved himself to be a viable option on both ends of the floor, averaging 19.6 points for 0.5 rebounds and 1.0 steals per game. His impressive performance with the Knicks last season, including his postseason heroics, further underscores his value as a tremendous asset capable of helping the Bucks remain competitive even during a rebuild. The addition of Miles McBride also carries significant upside. While often mentioned in trade rumors due to New York's need to shed salary, McBride's two-way potential and improved perimeter shooting make him an attractive prospect. As a backup point guard for the Knicks last season, he averaged 9.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 1.0 steals per game, shooting 40.6% overall and 36.9% from three-point range. His reliability as a perimeter threat and point-of-attack defender would be invaluable. Considering the comprehensive array of assets the Bucks would receive in this deal, they could successfully plan a rebuild and potentially return to competitive form in a remarkably short span of time. Finally, let's examine the Golden State Warriors, the unlikely facilitators who, in this scenario, might benefit the most in the immediate future. By acquiring Karl-Anthony Towns, the Warriors would effectively add one of the NBA's premier big men to an already formidable core, instantly transforming themselves into legitimate title contenders. As currently constructed, the Warriors are a team built on veteran experience and a championship pedigree, featuring stars like Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler, alongside recent impactful signings such as Al Horford. However, the sheer depth of competition in the Western Conference often leaves them just outside the top tier of championship favorites. Karl-Anthony Towns, despite some defensive shortcomings, is an incredibly reliable and versatile big man. His offensive skill set, which contributed significantly to New York's success last season, provides ample evidence that he could help the Warriors solidify their status as contenders. Last season, Towns averaged 24.4 points, 12.8 rebounds, and 3.1 assists, shooting an impressive 52.6% from the field and 42% from beyond the arc. As a capable floor spacer and dominant rebounder, the 29-year-old would be a perfect fit in the Warrior system. His offensive versatility would allow him to seamlessly slot in alongside Curry and Butler, potentially forming one of the most potent scoring trios in the league. An acquisition like Towns would completely alter the landscape of the West. With him in the starting lineup and Horford moving to a high-impact bench role, the Warriors would boast unparalleled depth and talent across virtually all positions, truly transforming them into a legitimate threat to win it all. The primary challenge with this deal, however, lies in Towns' massive $53.1 million incoming cap hit. Given that the Warriors would only be sending out Kuminga's $22.9 million contract along with 2 first-round picks, Golden State would undoubtedly exceed the second tax apron. While this represents a significant financial risk, the Warriors organization has a history of willingness to spend aggressively to build championship rosters. They might view this deal as a necessary means of maximizing their limited title window, making one final, all-in push for another ring. So, should the Knicks truly pursue Giannis Antetokounmpo with such a monumental trade? The links between New York and the Greek Freak are undeniably compelling, purely because of the seismic impact such a move would have on the entire league. However, when considering the sheer volume of assets the Knicks would have to relinquish to acquire him, the immediate merit of such a trade becomes a complex calculation. New York might, in fact, have another, less costly avenue to acquire Antetokounmpo in the near future. With the forward potentially becoming available as a free agent in 2027, the Knicks could strategically look to clear significant cap room to sign him outright. This approach, however, hinges entirely on Antetokounmpo's decision, as he could also choose to exercise his player option to remain in Milwaukee. In this high-stakes game of chess, only time will truly reveal Giannis Antetokounmpo's next move, and whether the Knicks' audacious pursuit will culminate in a championship parade or a lingering what-if. What do you think, basketball fanatics? Is this the kind of earth-shattering trade that could truly redefine the NBA? Could Giannis Antetokounmpo in New York be the unstoppable force we've all been waiting for? And what about the Bucks and Warriors? Do they come out winners in this colossal deal? We want to hear every single one of your passionate takes, your wildest predictions, and your deepest concerns. Drop a comment below, and let's get this conversation absolutely buzzing. If you're as captivated by the drama and potential of this NBA offseason as we are, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for all the breaking news and in-depth analysis, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action. Let's ride this roller coaster together.